Okay, so with Body Thrive today, what I wanted to talk a little bit about, and it's not in, I don't think it's in the Body Thrive book, it is in Wild Habits. I wanted to talk about the semi-annual practice of detox and where that fits in with Body Thrive habits, where because we are gearing up in a couple of weeks to do the yogi detox, and I wanted us just as Body Thrive members to understand the context of where does this fit in with the habits. So I thought I'd talk about this for a little bit and then help everyone sort of point their awareness to it, whether you're going to do the detox with us or whether you're going to do one on your own. So basically in like Ayurvedic teachings, in the Vedic texts, there's a lot around Charya, around the daily rituals, around the daily routines, the daily rhythm. And Rita, RTA, is the Sanskrit word for rhythm. And the idea is that like the rhythm, you don't get to choose. It exists. It's part of the gift of the life of being a human on the planet Earth, is that there's rhythm. And so when we live against rhythm, and there's daily rhythm, right, from sun rising, sun setting, there's seasonal rhythm, wet season, dry season, hot season, cold season. This affects us. And so if we're living against rhythm, there's also time of life rhythm, whether you're in the younger phase of your life, the middle phase of your life, or the elder phase of your life, that's the third rhythm. If you live against the rhythm, what suffers, the rhythm or you? Yeah. So why do that? Why do that? And that's really the question. And you'll see it in yourself when a past pattern, and you could say it's in like Sanskrit words, we'd say it's ahamkara, or the self-identity that identifies more as an individual than as the rhythm. Because you can actually identify as the rhythm. You can have unity consciousness that like who I am is rhythm. It's a very evolved way to present self. Most of us identify as like, I'm outside of the rhythm. I've got my own agenda. I've got my own thing going on. So I'm going to eat what I want. I'm going to go to bed what I want. I'm going to exercise when I want. I'm going to do what I want. And the problem with that is if you live against the rhythm, who wins? The rhythm's bigger and stronger and is older than all of us. And so I want to talk about the seasonal rhythm. It's called Ritu Charya, R-I-T-U, Ritu Charya. So there's Charya, that's the daily rhythm, and that's what Body Thrive is. All I did with Body Thrive was like, okay, you guys, there's a rhythm. It's circadian rhythm. And there's habits that help just codify the rhythm. These habits are in the old texts, they're in the new texts in Ayurveda, and they're not getting enough attention. They're just simply not getting our focus, and instead we're focusing on what's my special diet for me, what are the special supplements for my body type, we go towards specialization before we go to generalization. First, you're a human being, before you're a body type, before you're in time of life even, right? It's like you're a human being, you're on a planet, it's evolved over time, it has rhythm. And these rhythm create what appears to be laws, and all the laws are a reflection of rhythm, right? So where's natural law fit in? It's just a reflection of rhythm. The more out of sync a culture gets to the rhythm, the more that culture will suffer in the long term. And we can see that right now. I think anyone that's like half awake is like, oh wait, there's a problem where our global economic system is treating the earth like an infinite resource, but the earth is a finite resource. So we're not understanding the rhythm of the resource. And even seeing it as a resource is part of a problem, right? Seeing ourselves outside of the planet we live on, it's a perspective problem. And these problems create fragility. And you'll see that word. Is anyone noticing that word coming up a lot? It's coming up in the news, it's coming up in economics, it's coming up in health. We're starting to see it. I'm starting to see it in scientific literature where they're talking about fragility within the human body. So that's good. We're seeing the same word appearing in multiple places. A fragile system is not in rhythm. A fragile system is going against these universal laws, meaning is going against the rhythm. Whenever we're having a hard time in life, what we want to do is say, like, where am I out of rhythm? Like, where am I out of sync? Where am I inviting unnecessary suffering? And usually what's connected to that is the identity, the past pattern of identity. What, again, aham kara. Aham means I am, A-H-A-M. Kara is the factor of that. It's where you take, you factor in that's part of the equation. So it's an over-identification with a past set of likes and dislikes that's forming a persona or personality. And it's like, well, I'm the kind of person who has lattes every day. Well, is that working or not? I'm the kind of person who stays up late. Okay, is that working or not? I'm the kind of person who hits the snooze button a few times. Again, like, is the ahamkara bow, and this is that word, that bow, that does it bow, namaste, namaskar? Does it submit to the rhythm? Or is it saying, you know what? Rhythm exists, I'm outside the rhythm. And the more we do that, the harder we make life. I mean, for the cells of our body, for our relationships, primarily our relationship with our own self, and a deep sense of self-confidence. So when we live against the rhythm, I want you to equate that with fragility. That's fragile. It's making the self fragile. So to become anti-fragile means we pay more and more attention to rhythm, to all the rhythms, the daily rhythm, the seasonal rhythm, and the time of life rhythm. So what naturally happens as the seasons change, again, some of you are going from wet to dry or dry to wet. Some of you are going from hot to cold or cold to hot. It's a mix. Like in my team in Manila, they just went into like wet, hot. And so like all these issues came up. If there was inflammation, and I can tell on my team who has inflammation by how they handled that change in season, right? It's like, who's pretending they're outside of the rhythm and who's submitted. So what happens in change of seasons is appetite changes. Agni changes. Agni is the digestive fire in the cells of the body. There's good words in allopathy for that, like lysosomes are the enzymes within cells that digest what's in the cell. There's enzymes like lipase, which are in fat cells, which need to go outside of the fat cell to digest what's in the blood or what's in the plasma or what's in the interstitial fluid. These are embodiments of Agni in modern words. So words like lipase, words like enzymes, words like lysosomes. Those are all saying that there's these components of the body that are highly acidic, but not in a way that acidifies the body. They're actually acidic in a way that maintains homeostasis or alkalinity in the body. What happens when the seasons change and we don't? What do you think? Good or not good? Seasons are changing, we're not changing, not good. Yeah, one of the ways that I see this is people that have the same grocery list, more or less, like month over month or week over week, like they always get the same things at the same, right? It's not changing with the season. Same thing with quantity of food eaten. So when we're in the change of seasons, those enzymes are designed to clean house from the last season. There's an understanding in seasonal change that there's an accumulation of the past season. The energies or forces or doshas of the past seasons, they accumulate. So like right now where I'm at, it's the end of, well, actually I'm not sure. I can't really tell what the seasons are doing anymore. We're getting somewhat towards the end of winter, potentially, or we could be totally at the end of winter going into spring, potentially. Sometimes we get like 5 feet of snow in April. in early May. So I have no idea. Right now we're about at least 40% under regular snowfall. So it's like planet's fragile. Don't really know what's going on. I know a lot of you are experiencing fragility in your ecosystem, right? Where the ecosystem's changing because the weather patterns have changed significantly. In any case, what I can see is the snow is dirty. Like the layers of snow, it's old snow. That's accumulation. Ayurveda has a really good understanding that like what's happening on the outside is happening where? On the inside. So you do not live outside of your ecosystem. You live within your ecosystem. You live within the weather patterns of your ecosystem. Whatever the weather has been like, those are forces, those are energies. There's the force of heat. We call that pitta. There's and you guys, the words don't matter, it's the concept. So like if you're getting lost and taking notes, like it doesn't matter. You don't really need to know. You just understand the concept and you'll get it. You'll be so much better off. There's the force of moisture. There's the force of coldness, right? There's these forces and they build, they build up, they accumulate during a season. The force of dryness, that's vata. Cold, heavy, wet, moist is kapha. Hot, sharp, intense, that's pitta. So as those attributes collect in the outer ecosystem, they collect in the physiology. When the seasons change, what we want to do is give the body a break. To give the body a break, we need to give the mind a break. So and to understand that these seasonal changes are junctures, meaning you don't have to change forever. You just have to change enough for what's accumulated to be digested. That's all. And in the digestion of the accumulation, you get clear. So that's an attribute. You get clarity, clear. You get from clarity, you get more light coming in. And with clarity and light, you can see. So you have vision. So you get a bit of a reset. There's nothing weighing you down from the past season. There's actually more of just like clarity and light, and you're free and open. You're not attached. Ahamkara is like, I'm in rhythm. I'm rhythm. I'm identified who I am as rhythm. I'm rhythm. What's next? What do I like next? What's not working for me next? And it's coming from a blank slate. And in this way, the patterns are alleviated. And what Ayurveda is super clear on is this is anti-aging. Aging is when you're against the rhythm, the seasons accumulate outside the body, forces accumulate within the body, you keep doing what you like and don't like according to the past pattern of the self, and it's a problem. And that accumulation layers, layer over layer over layer, and it embeds deeper and deeper into the tissue, also deeper and deeper into the mind, because the mind has to let go as much as the body does. Okay. So what I find challenging is it's like the way I feel like modern culture attunes to the seasons is like, we went from pumpkin spice lattes to peppermint cocoa lattes to St. Patrick's green lattes to Easter lattes to like, you know what I mean? Like it's really a topical commercialized version. In general, the change of seasons in this juncture, what it's enabling and signifying is a time off. So it's like and I don't like the word anti that much, like anti-aging, anti-consumer. It supersedes consumerism because really what it's asking is to not consume. It's saying like, let everything that's accumulated, there's already accumulation. We don't need more. We don't need to consume more. It's saying like, let's just start to take a break. And right now we're really close to the equinox, right? So we're about a quarter past the last solstice. We're towards the equinox. It's really natural to feel these energies arising right now. Like, oh, there's energies and they're doing their thing. They need space. They need silence. So you can hear the rhythm. So you can feel the rhythm. And the silence is needed to both hear and to feel. And then the rhythm takes over and you'll notice like, I'm not that hungry. I don't really know what I would eat. I have the food, I call it the food blahs, where it's like, things don't taste as great. I'm not as hungry. It's a little like, I could pay all this attention to food, but I don't get the normal like, wow, that was really satisfying that I would, normally get. And that's how to know, like, give up a little bit. That's Lent, right? Like give up a little bit. Like give up a little bit of the attachment. Allow a little more space. Allow a little more light. Allow a little more silence. Allow a little more listening and receiving the rhythm. Go for walks so that you can feel the rhythm that the earth is in. Take the earbuds out and feel the weather and notice the sky. And that lysosomal activity, that Agni activity will naturally happen in cells because they simply have less to digest. There's simply less load and they're able to process the accumulation. So that is what Ritu Charya is all about. It is a habit. It's a habit. And what I have found is that it's a habit that once you have it, it's natural. Like it just happens. Just like brushing your teeth or exercising or meditating or intermittent fasting or going to bed early or like any of the other things we do is just a habit. This morning, my friend and I, we have a habit of meeting at 6 a.m. and going skiing a few times a week. And it's cold and dark. This morning it was 12 degrees. But it's a habit. We don't have to think about it. It's like, are we on for tomorrow? Yes, go. And we just go and we do it. Is it uncomfortable? Like in the beginning, yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's cold. It's dark, And after like 15 minutes, like, oh my God, this is so gorgeous. It's like, no wonder we do this. Like, no wonder we do the hard thing, which makes it really easy to keep doing the hard thing. And it's called a positive stressor. So Ritu Charya, or the seasonal reset, the seasonal detox, is a positive stressor. It means like, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to put it on your calendar. It's hard to commit to your own little reset evolution, especially when there's 4 weddings and a funeral that are arising, right? And when you've got to put the detox on your, like there's life goes on. Culture is not in Ritu Charya. Culture keeps going. There's going to be St. Patrick's Day spice lattes out there, right? There's going to be special green beers to drink, right? Culture goes on and it's not in Ritu Charya. Culture's living against the rhythm. Culture's fragile. And you're becoming anti-fragile. So you have to do the hard thing. You have to schedule it. And then you have to attune and ask yourself, like, what is the identity? What's the next persona? What's the evolution that will come out of this? And start to listen. And just start to listen to like, this is what's up in my life. These are the, usually, I love Ayurveda for this reason. When an old pattern is expiring, it usually doesn't go out quietly. It's usually like a 2-year-old throwing a temper tantrum in a fine restaurant. That's usually how it goes out. Right? And you try to quiet the child down and then it's like it makes it worse. Right? And that happens again and again and again. And you're like, I think I got the memo. And it's like, nope, one more time. Got to make sure you got the memo. Got to make sure. Right? And so in that, what's happening in that level of discomfort is if you're able to have the silence, if you're able to see what's accumulated in the pattern of your likes and dislikes, you're able to say like, oh, I just saw the hyperbole of the pattern. So I can really see it a mile away. Right? I can rise above the pattern enough to see the hyperbole, to see the extremity, to be able to see it a mile away. I must really be able to get done with this because I can see it loud and clear. And at that point, it starts to lighten up, starts to ease in, the light comes in between the cracks, and you can say like, oh, so how I'm evolving, my next identity, my next persona, because you will have a next persona, you will have a next rhythm, a next habit pattern, all of that will usually have tendencies towards the opposite of the pattern that's letting go. Like increases like, opposites reduce each other. So the evolution will be opposite to the hyperbole of the pattern that's emerging. And so if we're not quiet and we're not digesting and we're not turning energy inward and we're just in our life as normal, we miss it. We miss it. And then the pattern becomes what in yoga is called a samskara. It just gets deeper and deeper embedded into who we think we are and how we think the world works. And our reality shrinks. We become more fragile. So that is why, I mean, it's so funny how these things happen because this is like, I've been leading the Yoga Detox semi-annually since 2002. So for like decades now. And, about 10 years ago, I was like really ready to quit. I was like, we don't need to do that anymore. And basically like you guys, like members were like, oh, but we do. Like you may have this as an automated habit, but like we don't. And I need to bring my mother and I need to bring my friend and like I need more people in my life on board that this is normal human behavior to press the reset button twice a year, to do Ritu Charya, like to do that because I'm not going to get it from culture. And you guys really helped me persevere through like, yeah, we do need to do this. And again, what's important to me for you as Body Three members is you understand that Ritu Charya, it really is not an option. It's just an evolution of habit. So as your Dinacharya becomes stronger, it's easier to notice it. It's easier to be like, oh, food blahs. Oh, emotional patterns expiring. Oh, weather changing, and I can tell I need to change with the weather. I need to change with the season. Yeah, Yoga Detox, April 6th to 22nd. All right, so that's all I had to say.